Welcome everybody to the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card reading. So today's reading is unashamedly, unapologetically romantic. This is channeling messages from St Valentine for you all in honour of St Valentine's Day, if you are seeing this around the time that it will be first published, because depending upon which hemisphere you are in the world, it may be on Valentine's Day, it may be close to Valentine's Day. But in either case, it inspired me to do a reading. I don't do a lot of readings that are just on sort of love and relationships. So love and relationship energies often come up in my readings. But this is, as I say, unashamedly and unapologetically about love. Now, we may pick up something beyond romantic love in this, depending on what St Valentine wants to talk to you about. But I think that's going to be the main core focus of this. So it could be about a current love. It could be love that you are pursuing or interested in the moment. It might be if you haven't been in a relationship for quite some time, it could be looking at energies that would bring something in. Just depends. So I think anybody, from people who have been single for a long time through to people who are very happy in love and are looking at almost the legacy and the energies and anything to improve and enhance that love or re-inspire the passion in it, anybody could potentially get something out of this. So hopefully the messages from St Valentine will be helpful and enjoyable for you. So there are 3 piles to choose from. Of course, you can go to more than one if you wish. To help with the choice, I thought I'd take the Lovers card out of 3 different tarot decks. So these are the tarot decks that will be used for the different readings. So if you're familiar with them, that might draw you to the energy of the deck, or the imagery might, or numbers might, whatever works for you. But for pile number 1, we have the Lovers card from the Unfolding Path Tarot. For pile number 2, we have the Lovers card from the Crystal Unity Tarot. And for pile number 3, we have the Lovers card from the Runway Tarot. So that may help you choose whatever works for you. You do you, as I always say. When you know what reading or readings you want to go to, the timestamps, as always, are in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome, pile 1, to your reading. So to start off, what I thought would be useful to ask St Valentine about was to give some messages about the divine masculine and divine feminine sort of energies within you, or potentially within a relationship that you're interested in or that you're in at the moment, or that you are wishing potentially to reconnect with, as might be the case for some of you given that card coming up. Now, this is not to say, because I'm using divine masculine and feminine, this is not about gender, this is not about gender preference. This is about the sort of divine masculine aspects, the sort of passion, action, and so forth, and then the divine feminine, the sort of creative, receptive, emotional energies and so forth, that are both within you potentially, that St Valentine is talking to you about in terms of your love nature and what will work for you, and also potentially in a partner around you as well. So take what comes from this for how it applies to your situation. But it's interesting because there's almost a push-pull energy within this reading, and I think it may be primarily within you, but it could be playing out in a relationship you're either, as I say, potentially wanting to have a reunion with, or in the whole issue around relationships. Because with the divine masculine, which is normally about action and passion and going for what you want, you've got Hypnos, so the god of sleep. So I feel like this, and when you've got Bast, which is the goddess of play and action, it's almost as though some of the passion or the self-directed energy around love has almost gone to sleep, or is almost hypnotizing you at the moment. And the divine feminine side of you is almost taking up the lead of let's do something, like let's play, let's enjoy. And the energy around that with the dancer and with escape, which is, escaping limitations you have put on yourself, because you can fly out, you can do this. There is a sort of a sense here of wanting to get back to the joy of love and get back to the fun in love. And for some of you with the reunion card here, it may well be that you have been separated from someone. Now, this could be you've had a breakup and you would like to get back with the person. It could also be that there is something about either your work or their work that keeps you very separate from each other. And so the energy almost go back to sleep around this until you see each other again. And again, this might be then saying, look, let's take a holiday. Let's have some fun. Let's get back into the sort of dance of love and joy, if that is the case. Let's get things into balance. If you are separated from someone because of a breakup, you may almost have put yourself to sleep to anything else until you can work out whether you can bring that back together. Now, we'll see as the cards go through whether St Valentine is suggesting in that situation that you should have a reunion, or whether that's put you to sleep to all the fun you could have in other relationships. So it kind of depends on how this is playing out, but it looks to me like if you've been single, you've almost... maybe a past love is still in your heart, or still sort of like making you feel that you don't want to act and so forth. And there is a thing about bringing that into balance. If you've broken up, similarly, is this something that you should be wanting to sort of have the reunion, or has it put you to sleep in a way? If you're in a relationship, have you almost stop looking at the passion because other things are keeping you apart? So I think that's the sort of energy around the divine masculine. The divine feminine's got the answer. It's like, look, let's have some fun. So if you've been single, get out and have some fun. Get out and dance, like that kind of thing. If you are wanting to have a reunion, or you're still mourning a past love, again, get out and have fun. It either brings the person back in or it brings someone else in. And if you are in a relationship where time and other pressures have separated you, again, have some fun. So I think the message is pretty clear from St Valentine here. It's about waking back up and finding the enjoyment in love. So let's see what his messages are for you very specifically. So we're asking how he sees your love energy now, and then we're going to ask what he thinks you know and that you can see coming, and also what he knows and can see coming that you can't yet. So firstly, let's get a little bit of if he was to describe your love energy at this point in time, what would he say, pile one? The Sun reversed, Seven of Swords reversed, Three of Cups, Four of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles. Okay, he's being pretty clear, and it fits with this energy. He's saying you, for whatever reason, past love that you're pining for, too much work and no play, that kind of thing, or just, that you felt that you had to be single a lot, or the spark's gone out of it. He says that it's your kind of passion that is asleep at the moment, and it's time to get real about that, because there is a hugely wonderful opportunity around you. So I think he would be saying, if you are wanting a reunion, if that is really truly what is in your heart, as opposed to just pining for the past, there is the opportunity for a restart. If you have been pining for the past, but you don't really want to be back with that person, but you want something, there is the opportunity for something new to come in. And I think getting out and having fun with friends and so forth brings that in. May even be through friends that you meet someone. And if you are with someone, it's like I feel like it's work and material issues, and just trying to sort of always like maintain a foundation has taken the joy out of it. But there is a way to actually manifest more and feel more comfortable if you actually allow yourself to enjoy things more. It's almost like he's saying that the love energy, if it's being dimmed literally by too much work and no play, as I say, ironically, having a bit of fun, it opens up the energy. It actually takes away blocks that bring in more material outcomes. So either way, he's saying Hypnos is right here. It's like you've put yourself to sleep. You've told yourself all sorts of stories and things about why you don't have time for love, or why you can't be with the right person, or if you are with someone, why you have to focus on other things at the moment. But he's saying that's actually just a form of sleep and being unconscious. Play, a bit of fun, like just taking time out, taking a breather, that kind of thing. That's going to open up everything for you. So you are having a self-imposed limitation on your love energy at the moment, whether you're conscious of it or not. And if you get real with yourself and stop all the kind of like excuses and have a bit of fun, something really wonderful is in the wings for you in whatever it is that you're hoping for. So let's see what he thinks that you know about this and what you do see coming. So what do you realize about this? Nine of Pentacles, Emperor, Ace of Cups. Oh, that's a blessing, like two aces. That's beautiful. Queen of Pentacles, Eight of... You know what he's talking about. I think for a lot of you, it's about being very earnest and very focused on on material outcomes, status in the world, career, all those sort of things, and almost maybe a sense of I will be focused on that because I haven't yet found the love that I want to be committed to. But it's, in a way that you taught yourself into this all the time. So instead of doing the getting real thing with the Seven of Swords reversed, you almost kind of go straight to the Eight of Swords and lock yourself back up again. Every time you're thinking about what you could do, it's like, oh, but, if I just get a little bit more successful, if I'm a little bit more independent, that'll allow the true love to come through and so forth. I do think that he is also saying, and that if there's a yearning for a union, I don't think that is actually what's going to happen. I feel like this is saying something new. With two aces coming in, I think you kind of know. And in fact, it could be if you are pining after somebody, that might be the other thing that is stopping you from being able to see what's right in front of you, because it feels like it's very imminent, and I think you kind of know. And you do want to commit to something, but you're just very materially focused by the looks of things at the moment, or focused on maybe even somebody who got away, who was too independent, who didn't want to commit. There's something like that you know about. You know what this energy is. So let's ask what you don't know, what St Valentine says you don't see coming, and what you don't know about this at the moment. Six of Swords. Page of Cups. Yeah, there's definitely something coming in. Page of Swords. Page of Pentacles. Wow. Knight of Swords. Okay. So what St Valentine says that you don't really see at the moment, but I think you actually are going to start to see it pretty quickly, is that there is a path being prepared for you. It's coming, and in fact, it's well established in a way. And so when it starts and when it happens, particularly if you're having a bit of fun, it's going to go quite quickly. You're going to surprise yourself and surprise others with this. Like, you would be the prototypical workaholic, I think. And then I think something's coming. There's someone coming through the door to knock your socks off, basically. And your friends are going to be surprised. Everybody's going to be surprised. But it's because, in a way, the way has been prepared for you. Because we've got 3 pages. It's really interesting. To me, the pages, in each of the suits, you've been through the Ace to the 10. So you've been through the Ace to the 10 on love. You're not, this isn't like your first love, to be honest. There's sort of like history, and this is part of what's put you to sleep a bit, but you have actually gone through that whole cycle, and you've got a pretty good idea what you want. You've also really developed your communication skills, so you know what you would want to say to the right person. And you also know how you want this to be in your life. This is why it's ready. It's just that it's kind of, you went a bit to sleep. You got so much into doing all the preparation that you forgot about what you were preparing for. That's sort of what it's saying. But something is coming in with that double ace, and it will move quickly. So St. Valentine is pretty confident that once you kind of get out of your own way and really enact a well-developed, it's got a way to go. Page has to get through the king. So it's sort of like there's the next step of actually getting into it. But it's also, if you think about it, pages as the most youthful of the court cards, play, energy, fun, the 3 of cups there. That brings the love in. There's also a sense here of lightening up a bit on all these things, on what you would want from love and what you would want to say to the world and what you want for business, and bringing the play energy, and it brings it in. But you'll find that you're more ready and it's more on course than you think. So that is good. I guess for anybody who is desperately wanting a reunion, maybe it suggests that it is a reunion there for some of you, but it's a new lease on it. But I think for most, it's something new coming in. That's the overriding sense I have. But it's to kind of get you back to the enjoyment of love rather than the earnest sort of side of preparing a life that would sustain love. It's actually finding the love in the first place, and then that actually helps all the rest of it anyway. So want to have a look with a little bit more detail in your conscious and unconscious love energy. So I'm using 3 oracles that are going to look at your conscious energy and your unconscious, just a little bit more about knowing what St. Valentine is trying to say and show to you and how that can work. So firstly, from the love story oracle, your conscious and unconscious energy right now about love. So consciously, respect, okay? And unconsciously, guarded, reversed. Okay. All right, so I think part of this, I think you're very earnest, as I say. I think you're very You're very much like you do want the committed relationship. Love, you want to be committed, and you want it to be probably sort of living together, married, something like that. You want that kind of commitment and so forth, because you have a deep respect for the concept of love. You have a deep respect for people in general and for life in general. You're quite earnest. And as I say, it's like you're preparing. You're spending so much time preparing for what you want to provide, and to provide value, to show the respect to your partner, that you're not having fun finding your partner. But unconsciously, you're starting to realize this. You don't want to be so guarded. Whatever has hurt you or disappointed you in the past, you are getting more and more ready to release that and let the vast energy of play come in. Kind of a little bit of this, what this makes me feel, actually, on a literary sort of allusion, is Gatsby, though without the tragedy side of it. But, like the story of Gatsby, and this could be for a past love, or it could just be for the idea of love and what you want. Gatsby, comes back into the life of his great love, wanting to provide great value and be the most successful person ever. There's almost a sense like it's like you're preparing the world that the right love would be in. And there's a lot to be said for it, but equally, you've got to have the fun to bring the love in, and you're starting to see this unconsciously. So let's see the sort of feelings that are around this consciously and unconsciously. I've got to say, you've got a really lovely energy. Like, anybody who ends up with you is lucky, pile one. That's all I'm going to say. So the feeling energy consciously and unconsciously at the moment. Angry. Okay. So there's something's happened to you. You may also be angry with, what you've sort of seen in terms of relationships where respect hasn't occurred, or where you felt that you weren't respected. It could also be that if you're focusing a lot of things on material stuff, there's sort of anger around that because you want to get to this, and you're sort of thinking, oh, I'm on this treadmill trying to get there, as opposed to understanding that. But there's something to process from the past that's important. And then the feelings that are unconscious. Passion, the passion. You're starting to, I wouldn't be surprised if many of you may have just met someone, and you're kind of like, you're wanting to have the fun, but you're having to now reorder your life a bit. You're getting a bit angry and frustrated with that. I'm just getting, this is very specific, but I'm just getting that maybe some of you have met someone and they're with someone and you don't think that they're getting the respect they deserve. So there could be that kind of thing going on, but there's, this energy is occurring, and I think if that's the case, it'll sort of mirror back. So let's also look at the jukebox soundtrack energy around you consciously and unconsciously with your love energy at the moment, file one. Quit playing games. All right, okay. If you are still pining after an ex or someone who's on and off again, this is quite specific, but with these three cards together, this could be picking up some of this energy. I think this is a make or break thing. There could be for some of you that you've been a bit hypnotized by an on-off lover, but you've got to decide, is there respect here? Because you are meant to bring in, the great love. And if it is the great love, then there's something else going on, and games have to stop and you have to work out what it is. The fun should be different to playing mind games or whatever. If you are seeing someone that you're in love with who's with someone else and you feel like they're in the wrong sort of relationship, then it's kind of like you want to kind of offer the true respect and make the relationship more equal and more balanced and more healthy and so forth. But there is something, so this is interesting, it's picking up why you have the hypnotic sort of effect and why you have the reunion energy and so forth. There's something that you need to bring into balance potentially. And if it's you around relationships in the past, and if you felt you were a bit of a player, you don't want to play anymore. You don't. You're heading into a more mature sort of side of your relationship life. And unconsciously, the song, Inside That I Cried. Yeah, you're ready to get over whatever this was, or to bring it back in a better way. You've got to kind of mourn what has been in the past and deal with whatever this energy is to bring the passion back. So, but it's private. I think you've kept it very private. This is the guarded energy, but I think passion is starting to take those guards away. I think you're going to be more open. But as I say, you do it through fun. It's through a positive energy that allows you to do that. So let's ask your 5D self, because quite often when we're talking about love, and particularly bringing in new love, It could be operating on a 5D level before it is operating on a sort of 3D level. Let's see what your 5D self has to say about you. What they would, if they were sitting and having a coffee with St Valentine, what they would say about it in terms of what he is saying. Apprentice. Inspired learning is the call of the soul in pursuit of self-mastery. Be courageous with your emerging talents. That's this page energy. I think that you have, well, I think they would say you have a natural gift for love. This is why you want to do the respect. This is why if you have been a bit of a player before, then you don't respect yourself for that, and you're going to change that. You've sort of like got ready to this level that you could master it. And if you're seeing those sort of games around, it's why it irritates you, because you really do want to do the right thing. And this energy of really starting to make that work, you're ready now to put the work into love that I think you've put into career and other things as well. And they would also say, alliance, important partnerships, agreements, unexpected connections bring fortunate opportunities. They would say someone is coming in. I think in the context of this type of reading, love is coming in, whether it's a reunion or whether it is friends that bring somebody new in directly, that is coming in. And this is why you've got to get out and have a bit of fun and lighten up a bit to bring in the right allies. They would say, it's coming, St Valentine, you're right, we know that. And we're ready, like, our 3D self is ready. So, support that all you can, St Valentine, like allow that energy in. We're ready to make those sort of connections. So that's very, very positive. Okay, so we're just going to finish up firstly with getting you some astrology or numerological advice from St Valentine, and then we're going to go to some love icons in history and see what their advice is for you to close the reading. So firstly, just some astrology or numerology to help you embrace this new wonderful relationship, I think, that is coming in, or the reunion, if that is what you are looking for and you see that as possible. Grand Cross. There is some tension around this. This is moving out of the very earnest into the fun. So we will have a look at the planets around that. There are some energies you have to balance to make this work well. And it may also be picking up whatever this tension is, if there's other people involved that you don't approve of around all of this. Masculine. Yeah, where the energy needs to be sort of revved up is in this divine masculine, waking up. Divine feminine's ready to play and bring the love in. And water, yeah, emotion, allowing emotion in rather than all that kind of earth energy. So I'm just going to deal out till I get the planets, because this is kind of four energies that need to be balanced, because otherwise they could play off each other. So this is important as you sort of wake up and move into the play energy. So bear with me while I deal out, because it can take a while to get the planets. Neptune, your psychic ability is important to this, what your 5D self is saying. Moon, again, psychic ability and emotion, water, like what you feel. Trust your empathy and your instincts. This is actually a really good combination too of like hypnos, because it's like if you're not putting some action into this, so we'll see what other planets come up, you could become hypnotized with your own energy around this. So I think this is one of the challenges. Mars, yeah, so action is necessary. Action is necessary. And Jupiter, wow, that cards came out really quickly. Jupiter for benefic things. But it's interesting, so Jupiter is a great planet. It is a benefic, but it also is expansion. So it has to work in a balanced way. So if Jupiter overdid any of this, it puts it out of balance. So if it overdid the Neptune, you would be too hypnotized. If it overdid the Moon, you would feel overwhelmed. If it overdid the masculine, the Mars, you would feel too sort of driven. It's about balance. I think Jupiter is the key thing here. To bring in the very good fortune here for your love life, you need to get the right balance of your ideals, your emotions, and your action, which is about respect. So you're consciously very much on the right path. So to finish off for you, in terms of advice, we'll also go to a couple of people from history that might have some love advice for you. Now, this could be just humorous or it could be deep. So take from it what works for you. So we have Courtney Love. Okay, so she's more on the best get out and have fun type of energy. She says, if rock stars are like leaders of a religious cult, be the unvirgin Mary. So this is definitely calling on you to have fun. I think not to feel too too sort of prescribed, and not even to kind of make the commitment till you're ready. She says, be more than human, be a force of nature. Yeah, don't. There is a lot of energy in you. That's how you use Jupiter well. And she says, be ambitious. It doesn't matter if you don't know where you're going. And I think you know very well where you're going in your work, and that's why you've put a lot of energy into that. But it's okay to kind of move forward for love as well. And Lord Byron, oh, you're definitely meant to sort of have passion and fun in your life. Lord Byron, was very charismatic and very romantic. He says, be mad, bad, and dangerous to know. Yeah, it's get into the energy of bust. Love will find a way through paths where wolves fear to prey. So yes, don't be afraid of any of this. And friendship is love without its wings. So I think friends may bring this energy in, but it is meant to be about love. It is meant to be about romance. And you're ready for this. You're ready for it, pile one. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 2, to your reading. So just to sort of start to get a sort of sense from St Valentine about the love energy, I thought that we would start by asking him to comment on the divine masculine and divine feminine energy around you. Now, this could be around you and a partner if you feel like the energies apply, and in whatever sort of gender, sort of divine masculine feminine that applies to you, because this is not sort of making any judgments about people's preferences or gender identity or anything like that. This is just the concept of the divine masculine, which is the passion and the action and so forth, and the divine feminine, which is the creative and the receptive and the emotional sort of sides of things. But they are two very key things around love energy. And so it's, as much as anything, this is meant to reflect your energy, but it literally could play out with a partner or a partner that you want. And I definitely think for most of you, if you come to the right reading, there is another person involved in this right now, or there's going to be, and it's going to be a bit complicated. So this is very specific. So I think this is good because it'll let you know whether you've come to the right reading. Because with the divine masculine, we have set chaos, something disruptive, something major and transformative. I feel like on the divine masculine energy, it's almost like a tower energy. If there is a relationship around you now, or one is coming in, I think, that is going to be powerfully transformative and may seem chaotic at first. And it's coming in because you're incredibly attractive. But there's something about this, because Helen of Troy, I mean, this card is talking about beauty. So I think you probably are physically beautiful, or you have a beauty that it really draws this energy in, that is very attractive on a love energy. But she was also, famously the face that launched 1,000 ships. She set off a war. So you've got Set here with chaos, and then you've got Helen of Troy. I feel like there's something very disruptive about this relationship. Doesn't mean it's wrong on any level, but it's something disruptive and transformative. It could be within you to really bring up your courage and get you comfortable with love, with stand up for yourself here, and with rest, like regaining your strength, like going in waves towards being really able to be in love and not feel like it's chaotic and scary and too much. So for some of you, it might be that you draw a lot of love towards you. You just don't know how to cope with it. And you feel people are jealous and bully you because of it or something like that. So for some of you, it just may be an enormously transformative thing in your own love nature to be really able to be in the strength of it. But I've got to say, for a lot of you, with the rebel energy here, you don't take any prisoners. You might have been bullied or whatever, but you don't. And you won't put up with rubbish. And I think that's good. And with secret love, I just feel that this group, there's something about love for you that there are high stakes associated with it in some way. And I think it's really interesting that you were drawn to the Crystal Unity Tarot, because I consciously wanted to have a tarot that for this reading that had silhouettes, that maybe there was something a little bit hidden. And I didn't know these sort of cards would come up with it, but it makes perfect sense that you would be drawn to this tarot if that was why you came to this reading, because I feel like there's something a little bit hidden, or has to be hidden, about this, at least for some period of time. And I think it draws jealousy. I think you draw jealousy, or your partner does, or you together do. So whether you're in the relationship or whether it's coming, it's more like a tower relationship. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I do mean that it takes a lot of like really self-directed, what are you passionately going to go after and how, and against maybe some odds. And then also an understanding of the implications of this in terms of the stakes of the relationship and taking the time out that you need to make the right decisions. So it's pretty full on, Polto. So Valentine really has some full on messages for you. So let's go straight to him with tarot. And let's ask him, if he was describing your love energy right now, what would he say? Then we're going to ask him, what do you see coming and understand about this, and also what you don't see coming. It's a bit more unconscious. So how would he describe your love energy at the moment, Polto? The Moon. Yeah, there's something a bit secret or hidden about it. Four of Wands. Three of Wands. High Priestess reversed. Six of Cups. Wow. So for a start, with the Moon and the High Priestess reversed, there are secrets involved in this in some way. Now, if it's not that you're in a secret relationship, and some of you may be, or if you don't come across something that needs to be secret in some way, then there are secrets maybe even from your childhood about your love nature and about how you view relationships and the costs of relationships, and almost a rebellion against it. Some of you may have come from families where there are a lot of secrets around how your parents related or something. You maybe saw bullying. There could be something like that. You could have felt rebellious around that sort of energy. It could have made you feel very crash through or crash around relationships. But as I say, the thing that is interesting is that you're like a magnet for it in actual fact. So it's not like you could go, well, I saw something in my past I didn't like, so I'm not going to get involved, because you're going to be drawing people like crazy. You're very, very attractive. So that energy, there's something, St Valentine says, that is coming out. You don't know. There's something you don't know yet, or there's something that you're hiding, but it is going to come to the surface. And this is where one has to stand up and take the action to deal with that. For some of you, and I'm going to be really, really blunt here, this could be about a relationship that breaks up a family. It could be. I'm not saying it is for everybody, but there's some secrets around the sort of family card. And then we've got the Six of Cups here. So this could be it. It could be sort of something, a relationship that breaks up a very long established relationship. And you will be in this relationship. So you're either the person who's leaving a family for a new relationship, or you're the person who draws someone away. That's possible. Or that is at stake. Whether or not it happens, that is at stake. So it's specific, and it's not going to be everybody for this, but that is possible. The good news is that I think whatever happens, it leads to a better sort of harmonious direction. Like, I think if there is something like that going on, you and the other person are meant to be together. You have a similar journey to go on. You're ready to go on a similar journey. If you are in a relationship that's a bit hidden at work, it's going to come out. So maybe one or other of you needs to sort of move on so that isn't an issue. It's ultimately happy, but there's just secrets around it. There's secrets around this energy for some reason. So let's say, given that, because some secrets might be secrets you have, and some secrets may be things you don't know. So what do you know at the moment? What does St Valentine think you know about this love energy? Eight of Wands. Seven of Pentacles reversed. Seven of Cups reversed. Knight of Cups reversed. The Fool reversed. Oh, wow. Okay. I do feel that for some of you, this is about either a relationship that you're in dissolving because another one comes along that you go to, or that you draw. I feel like there's a freedom from, but it's something that wasn't working. So whether this is not a moral issue that I'm talking about here. This is, I think, either you're in a relationship that isn't working and something new comes that liberates you because you can see it isn't working. You're pragmatic. You understand that now. Or, as I say, you're drawn to and you're very attractive to someone who's in that situation. So, and I really think this is very, very clear. If this doesn't resonate on any level, it's probably not your reading. Though I would say, unless you are very happy in a relationship at the moment and you can't see it shifting, this could be something coming in. So if you're single or if you're just dating or something, this could be something coming in. But this is very much what it's saying. I can't, and it's not even that I don't want to like sugarcoat it. There's nothing actually wrong with what's going on, but it is tumultuous. It is tumultuous, and it does take some pragmatics and less romanticism and more pragmatics. But this is you and the other person. It's not like this is the first sort of love that you've had or something. You know what you're doing and you know what you want. This is why I think you kind of know this is the right connection. Okay, so what don't you know? Five of Swords reversed. Knight of Pentacles reversed. Nine of Pentacles reversed. Three of Cups reversed. Two of Wands reversed. I think that the other party doesn't want to give up. I also think there's something in either your nature or the nature of the other person that you're not sure if the commitment's going to come. So, for argument's sake, if you meet someone who's with someone and it's a tower relationship, it takes all before it, and this person wants to leave their partner to be with you, and this is what it kind of looks like. You might unconsciously wonder if they're going to do the same thing to you. And if you're doing it, they might unconsciously think that. And it's always like some of the hazards, and only time will work that through, but it's sort of there. There's also some other party that's not giving up in this. And there's very much a drive not to be alone and to get over disappointments from the past and some connection that didn't work. So as I say, this is very, very specific. This will only fit a certain number of people, I think, this poll. And it really is about, I don't know whether it's you or whether it's the other person, but this is a very overwhelming attraction. And I think it is a good attraction, but it's complicated as hell because there's a third party involved. So, and it's a third party that was established. So, okay, all right. Valentine's giving some interesting messages. So what we want to look at now is a little bit more in terms of your conscious and unconscious energy. So I'm using 3 different oracles for conscious and unconscious. This might give us a little bit more of an idea about whether it's, because this is your energy, whether it's you that's leaving somebody for somebody new or whether you're drawing somebody to you. So firstly, from the love story oracle, what is conscious for you? Chemistry reversed, okay, and what is unconscious for you? Flirt, okay, all right, okay. I think for most of you, you are probably in the relationship that's going to break up because someone else comes in, because I think you're conscious of a lack of chemistry. But, I mean, it could also be, it could go the other way. It could be that you have unconsciously been flirting with someone because you can tell that the chemistry isn't there with their partner, and therefore, and there is with you, and it's not yet really brought to the surface, but it's there. But either way, the flirtation is there. It's like, this is an irresistible attraction. It's going to happen, even if you're trying to consciously go, don't enact this, don't do it, it's too chaotic. It's there unconsciously. The flirtation is there. Let's see the conscious and unconscious feelings around it. Conscious feeling. Manipulated, I will not be controlled. Yeah, I do think most of you, you're probably in the relationship that's going to be dissolved. If not, it's like whoever this other party is, or maybe friends around it are trying to control it. Like it's complicated, and that's the rebellion energy for you as well too. I think that your divine masculine energy around the chaos and the rebellion of this, you're very conscious of that. I think you're a little less conscious of how attractive you are and why this is occurring. Let's see the unconscious feelings. Regretful, I release blame and regret. So you've got a moral, I think this is why I'm feeling uncomfortable in a way doing the reading, because I think you've got a moral compass. You've got a very strong moral compass, and so that you don't want to hurt anybody and you don't want to cause disruption, whatever it might be. But this energy is really powerful, but you equally don't want to do that. But I do feel with this, it's sort of like it is a relationship that has a lot of potential to move forward, and whether you're leaving one or they're leaving one, it really, that is kind of over, regardless. I don't feel too, you might be a little bit worried about whether that you're kind of a rebound or a, kind of a transition, but I don't think that's the case. This is a very powerful attraction. Let's see the the soundtrack of this, so the conscious soundtrack to you of this love energy is justify my love. Yeah. You want to see that this is worthwhile, worth all this sort of energy, worth all this change. And you're prepared to show it. You're prepared to do what's necessary to show it as well. And the unconscious soundtrack, I'll never break your heart. Okay. I think underneath you see, whether, as I say, whichever position you're in this, that this is a very powerful, important relationship. I just think I am going to say that I think in most cases, it's not going to be every single one, but in most cases, you've been in a relationship that is no longer really working. You are going to meet someone. It's a really powerful attraction between both of you. But you, in leaving the other one, you're worried. You're wanting to justify that this is the right thing to do. And I think the other person is hanging on quite a lot. And you want your new partner to know that you're only leaving because this is the right relationship for you now. It's not that you're going to just use them as a transition or something like that. So, wow, it's pretty powerful. So what I want is your 5D self to be talking to St Valentine. So if St Valentine was sitting down and having a coffee with your 5D self, just want to see what your 5D self would say about what St Valentine is bringing to the surface here. Rainbow Priestess, trust your intuition. It's the language of your soul, a natural connection to divinity. So your 5D self knows that you're on the right path. And ultimately, this great beauty, this is the right thing. So it would be saying to St Valentine, yeah, it's going to be as rocky as hell, but this is the right thing to do. And Sovereign King, claim your sovereign self and seize the throne of your own line. Yeah, or own life. Yeah, this is you coming into your sovereignty, rebelling against constraints or whatever that are not true. This is part of you being true to yourself. So, and there is a battle, to be sovereign, and to have Helen of Troy, there was a battle, all that kind of thing. So, I think your 5D self's pretty feisty and knows this is the right thing. I don't think that St Valentine's arguing. So let's see what what astrology or numerology can help you. Air. This is kind of philosophical. You have to come to philosophical terms with what you're doing and understand, so you don't get into this regret space, and also so that you don't feel manipulated or controlled. You need to have a clear understanding, a clear philosophy around what you're doing. Waning gibbous moon. So the waning gibbous moon is about synthesizing and integrating lessons. So there are lessons to come from this, and probably even from a past relationship you were in or the past relationship that your new partner was in, whichever it is. And Aquarius. Yeah, this is asking you to be a little bit detached philosophically, because there is something very powerful in all of this, and so that you can feel okay about it and you can move forward with it, you need a certain degree of detachment that says these things happen for a reason. It's not, and relationships can shift and change and dissolve, and new ones can come in. This isn't as big a morality thing as you're feeling. And you are on the right path. Okay, so to finish off, we're just going to get you some advice from love icons from the past, from history. So we're just going to get a couple and their advice. This just could be humorous, and to be frank, I wouldn't mind a bit of humour with this because you're dealing with a lot. But equally, it could be profound. So take what works for you, leave the rest. So the first love icon that you have is Diana, Princess of Wales. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So she had to free herself from something that wasn't working to find things that would. And, of course, her life story, unfortunately, was far, far too early ending and so forth. But talk about an icon of being caught in philosophies that weren't right for the sovereignty, her own sovereignty. So there's something in this for you. She says, better to have one night of pleasure than a whole life of misery. Yeah, this is not sort of like a moral thing in the way that you may be thinking of it. She says, don't ask, don't tell, DNA tests are for commoners. So whatever's secret around this, doesn't make it wrong. And she says the truth is there are many people in every marriage. So yes, whatever whatever is in the past, what either you're carrying from the past or your partner carries from the past, there's something there and it's a bit tenacious, so you just need to be aware of it. And then a second icon for you is Ryan Gosling. Oh, cool. He says, silence has more meaning than the words you don't say. Yeah, there's a lot about secrets here. There really is. He says the hardest role to play is yourself. You're your own sovereignty, being true to yourself. And he says, don't let someone else write your private life. Yeah, your private life is yours. And keep it secret as long as you need to. But there'll be a point in this where there's a choice to be made and to claim your heart and claim your sovereignty, pile two. So I hope that resonates. I hope it was helpful. It's pretty full on, but it also has a lot of promise in it, I think. And it's got a kind of charismatically romantic feeling to it as well too. But as those sort of things are, they can be a bit challenging. So I do wish you well with it. If you enjoyed the reading, please like and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 3, to your reading. So to start the reading, I thought I would sort of channel from St Valentine a bit of a sense about the divine masculine and feminine energy within your love nature and your love energy at the moment. Now, this is not about gender or preference. So it's about sort of divine masculine in terms of action, passion, goals and so forth, and then divine feminine in terms of receptivity, creativity, emotion, and that kind of thing. So this could reflect things within a current love relationship you have or one that you are interested in, but it equally is just as likely to be about your own energies and how they're operating. And then that could potentially be mirrored out in a relationship that you have at the moment or one that's coming in. So this is the divine masculine side. This is divine feminine. The interesting thing is I do think that St. Valentine is saying for people who've come to this reading, and this is maybe a way to see whether you have come to the right reading, is that there are some obstacles or some challenges around you at the moment to create the love energy, the love relationship that you want. And it's calling on a lot of inner strength for you. I feel like many of you are in environments where being true to yourself for your love or your preferences or whatever it is brings you into kind of arguments, and you're always having to have the strength of trying to keep the peace and keep the balance. And you're also sometimes just wanting to explode around it all. Like emotionally, you are wanting to do that. But you have in mind what you want. Like the thing about you is that you're very strong. So you're in a contentious environment around love. Around, as I say, whether people accept how you want to love or who you want to love, or whether there's competition for the person that you love, or whether you're just in a really competitive environment materially, and it makes it very hard to even think about love because there's so many other things you're dealing with. There's something like that. Ganesha is a very, very positive god, and he's a god of good fortune, but in this deck it talks about overcoming obstacles to bring out that energy. So it does suggest, and particularly also with Andromache here as a divine feminine, very strong warrior-like energy, that you have what you need to go after and get what you want in terms of love. But it's not easy. There are obstacles here. And part of it, I think, is that you are trying to create something. There's an art to this as far as you're concerned that maybe doesn't fit maybe a more conservative or more reactionary sort of environment or something. And certainly St. Valentine is saying using your intuition, your creative energy, you can actually find your way through this. He's certainly not saying that you're stuck. He's just saying that this is your navigation, a combination of your intuitive power and the artistry you have then to find your way through the obstacles. And over here with Libra, to do it in a very balanced way that it's hard for people to argue with. Very interesting the way this card is done too with the brain and the heart. It's like using both of them. It's sort of like the heart and the emotion and the brain. So the brain and I feel like that's the heart, like the heart and then the brain operating here. But there's something difficult about this thing. Other people are getting involved and you want to kind of deal with it, or there's somebody really dramatic around it all. I don't think it's your partner. I think it's other people and how they respond. And this is either they kind of cause all sorts of drama around what you're trying to do. So it could be a family member, a friend, a love rival, a colleague, wherever it's happening. they're causing all sorts of drama, but you're having to find the way strategically through and remain strong and balanced while that's going on. Or occasionally you just might be wanting to explode because people are putting their nose in where it's not welcome, because this is your business. So you'll probably know which this is, but it's just, you definitely can create what you want, but there's just obstacles around your love life for some reason at the moment. And if that's not happening on a material level, but you haven't found someone, there might be sort of almost something spiritually happening. Obstacles are there to get you more and more in touch with your intuition and who you really want to be, and less about what other people want. So it could be that you're almost being protected from a relationship until you've dealt with that sort of energy. So what we're going to do with tarot is, firstly, we're going to ask St Valentine to describe your love energy in a bit more detail now, how he sees it. Then we're going to ask what he thinks you know and see coming, and also what you don't know and don't see coming. So how would St Valentine put more detail on this around your love nature? Pile 3. 10 of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, 7 of Swords reversed, 8 of Swords, Knight of Pentacles reversed. So firstly, I think he would say there is a lot of programming, and it could be, some of it could be positive, but there's programming from your family, your lineage, your legacy. And you're a very, very loyal person. So that's been programmed into you, to be loyal, to be fair, to be real. Sometimes he says that is almost a trap that holds you in not people pleasing per se. Your energy isn't a people pleaser, but in trying to keep the balance and peace in explosive environments and so forth, and use your strength for that rather than going after what you really want. And as a result, you may find it hard to find somewhere to commit to, because it always feels like there's obstacles. There's always things that are stopping that from occurring and upsetting the apple cart in some way. But it's interesting, because I think that what this is saying is that some of this energy is trapping you rather than freeing you. This is why intuition, it's not just your head on its own and just doing what the right thing is stopping you from really connecting with who you want. And I just feel many of you, a lot of it probably is family. There's like just interference. It's interference that, and it seems to be coming from a place that's supposedly about stability or whatever. But you've got to understand the patterning, because it's stopping you from being able to commit to something. It may even be that something's been instilled in you that there's only one form of like kind of a committed relationship, but in actual fact, you've got to create your own, because it's not going to work, and you're just going to get more and more frustrated with it. Or people are going to get frustrated with you thinking you should be doing this when in fact you want to do something different. So there's a kind of a sense of rebellion here. And you do have a stoicism, but it's like it's being put into you, I think St Valentine is saying. So it's how do you use that for yourself to create what you want? And that's where you should take action, because a lot of your divine feminine receptivity seems to be being soaked up in keeping everybody else happy, keeping the peace in some way. So what do you see coming? What do you know about this? What kind of, will resonate with you and be consciously helpful? Queen of Cups, Page of Swords reversed, King of Wands, Two of Cups, the Tower. Okay. You know you are either in or you're going to have coming into your life a relationship that challenges all of this. That's why you have to kind of work out what do you want to create. With the Tower coming in, you've either met someone recently that's sort of like completely different to what your family might have wanted or your friends might want or something like that, or you're going to. You have a sense of it. You can feel it coming in. There's a new relationship or a new revival of a relationship that has to transform things a lot. It's explosive energy. It's how do you use that? How do you use it as a strength? It feels like if you were using explosive energy as a strength, it's like it's the timed release of a bomb in a sense, not literally, but like the timed release of that kind of energy. That emotionally I'm talking about, obviously, not literally. So it's that sort of thing. Like you need to take control of that. You need to sort of like work out what you would do with the change, because there's a very big energy coming in, and you may have just met that person. If so, it's a very, very passionate connection, and it's really creative. Like, it's something that touches upon this creative side of you. It's also saying, because the divine masculine energy here is saying the artist, and here we have like the King of Wands. It's something about you creating this is the breakthrough that you need, and allows you, as I say, to kind of use what's in your weaponry in a way that would really work for you. You also know that communication is not clear where you are, but that you know who you really want to be. Like, you know, very strongly connected to your intuition, but it's not, there's something jamming the frequency a bit in the environment that you're in. So let's see what you don't know or see coming, pile 3. So this deck has a couple of additional cards, which are the people who designed the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So Arthur Edward Waite was the spiritual person. So there's a spiritual energy around all of this. And 2 of Swords, 5 of Swords reversed, 7 of Pentacles reversed, the Hierophant reversed. Okay. For some of you, this difference, this shift, this creativity is really breaking with a family tradition or a cultural tradition or a spiritual tradition. With the Hierophant reversed and Arthur Edward Waite, this is finding your own spiritual, intuitive, psychic, magical energy. So, but you don't yet see that. You don't know like how fundamental this is and how it is breaking programming. You don't know that until you do that. You won't be able to make the decision. Then there will be pushback. There's pushback because it feels like you're moving against things and not coming out and doing, as I say, what your family or your friendship circle or your culture or whatever it is expected of you. But this is a real rising of your actual own intuition, your own spiritual ability and your own spiritual knowledge. And until that happens, you won't really know even that there is a choice. But there is a choice. But boy, there are going to be people pushing back. So you have to be prepared. You have to have understood what it is that this love energy is doing. And I think it's like a significant relationship that draws all this to the surface for you. So let's have a little bit more of a look into your love energy, both consciously and unconsciously, using 3 different oracle decks. So conscious and unconscious. So again, a little bit more information from St Valentine about where you are now. So consciously, that's interesting. That came up for another chemistry reversed. I think you know your love nature, your decisions, your spiritual, it's out of whack. It's not with whatever you've been brought up to do or the culture or the friends that you're around. You know that it's just not working. And it's really interesting. Again, chemistry reverse. It's like this explosive feeling. It's like, if you put the wrong chemicals together, it's kaboom, So there's, you know that a shift is necessary. You know that the recipe isn't right. What's unconscious around your love nature? Security. But you want security. Okay. That's why it's tricky. Like, there's this sense of like, even though you're not really fitting in and it's not in line with what you want, it's almost like there's security in the past patterns, but if you understand that a bit, then you can start to design for yourself what would be security for you, which is more around understanding your spiritual, your intuition and your creative energy. Let's see the feelings that are around it, consciously and unconsciously. So consciously, the feeling around all this at the moment is unhappy. Yeah. The obstacles are there. You have to be strong. Something has to change. Something has to change, pile 3. Unconsciously, the feeling is judgmental. I will expand my mind. Yeah, you kind of unconsciously know you're going to draw judgmental energy. You might even be judgmental a bit about this yourself, or judgmental of yourself. This is really about coming into who you are, and you're going to come across this sort of energy, and you may even do it to yourself if you think that it threatens your security. So it's important to understand that. What have you given up to meet the judgments of others, Libra, for the security? Because it's important to understand that, to bring that to the surface. Then looking at the soundtrack of your conscious and unconscious love energy at the moment. Conscious energy. I've been thinking about you. Okay, so I think for many of you, you've met this person already. Otherwise, you're thinking about other relationships and where they haven't worked and so forth. Or even thinking about those that you've sort of been committed to before, but you're thinking that like the chemistry isn't right. But I think for most of you, you've probably met that Tower person. That's why it's showing up in the conscious thing. It's really making you rethink everything. And the unconscious soundtrack is no ordinary love. Yeah, you know there's something, and it's not ordinary. It's not secure in the same. It doesn't mean it couldn't be a secure relationship, but it's not of the world and the pattern that is normally sort of seen as secure within your culture or background or friendship circle or whatever it is. But it's profound. This is why you need to find that strength and really create it. You can bring it in. Okay, so let's see what your 5D self would say about all of this to St Valentine. If your 5D self was having a coffee with St Valentine, what energy would they say was present? Falling awake. When a situation falls apart, your darkest hour becomes the dawn of your awakening. Like they would be saying this is an awakening for you. A spiritual awakening, a love awakening. It has to happen. You have to go through this. They would also say, explore. A soul adventure calls you. Explore the uncharted waters of your inner and outer world. It gives you that opportunity to explore, but you have to be aware certain things are going to fall apart. Certain secure foundations are no longer going to hold. You have to wake up to who you truly are and how you truly want to love. That then allows you to explore. And they would say, you know, your 5D self knows that this is the journey that you're on. So let's get you some astrology or numerological advice for this journey. Waning gibbous. So the waning gibbous moon is about synthesizing and integrating lessons. Yeah, there are some lessons about this. You may have settled for relationships that fitted your sort of friendship circle or family circle or whatever in the past, and that hasn't worked and the chemistry hasn't been there and you haven't been happy. It's like understanding those lessons so that you're propelled towards the more explorative and happier sort of energy, and having the tenacity not to give up. Then we have 4. You are looking for some security and some foundation. So maybe part of the thing here is to work out how to explore this from a place that you feel at least is secure enough to explore. It almost feels like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like getting your kind of core things sorted so that then you can explore. If you're worried about those core things, you won't do the exploration. You'll just be worrying about that. And Grand Trine, in the end, this will be easier than you expect it to be. Once you really start to connect with your intuition and your artistry, let's just see what planets work together in trine to help you. So I'll just deal out till I get the planets. Mars, so action, energy, overcoming those obstacles, the divine masculine. Venus and the divine feminine, you know, the strength. So your divine feminine and masculine energies are working really well together to give you the strength to overcome the obstacles. And they are also working with Saturn, the structures of life, yeah, and what has come before. But it also allows you to bring in the structures of the future. So I think this is the thing to know. You will get that foundation. You will have that kind of solid basis. You're heading towards what is really your legacy and what you would want to take forward, but you're moving away from one as well too to do it. More in alignment with your love nature, quite literally. Okay, so to finish off pile 3, I just want to get you a couple of icons from history, love icons from history, and see what their advice is for you. Could just be humorous or it might be deep. So take what works, leave the rest. So firstly, we have Henry VIII. Okay, all right. Sort of sometimes wonder why he would be put as a love icon, to be honest, in this deck. But I guess, you know, he can be an example of what you would want to move away from: dynasties, lineages, power struggles, expectations, all the stuff that one would think about in relation to him, and, you know, that kind of energy. His advice, if you want to take it, is act like a gentleman and you'll feel like a king. Well, I think that's reasonable advice. Like, you know, do the right thing by people, even when things could be a bit explosive. He says, a rose has thorns, cultivate kinder flowers. So that's using the Libra energy. I think you'll do that. And he says, loving a great deal means sacrificing a great number. I think that's just humorous given his history. I don't think you have to sacrifice a lot, but I think you do have to make it clear what your direction is. Break with tradition. And Henry VIII did break with tradition spiritually. You know, the Reformation came about as much as anything else because of his love for Anne Boleyn before that all went sour. So there could be something very spiritual and transformative on another level for this for you. And we also have Mahatma Gandhi. Like you couldn't get much more opposite, could you? So the two extremes. Mahatma Gandhi says, where you find life, there is love. So there will be love. Do not worry about that. As I say, your higher self knows this, your 5D self knows it. He says happiness is when you are in harmony with your soul. Yeah, you have to be in harmony with your soul, not with everybody else's expectations. And forgiveness is a sign of strength. It's the weak who cannot forgive. So you don't have to, if it was family or friends, it's not necessarily that they meant harm, and it's not necessarily that you have to be angry. You can forgive that, but that is part of your strength. Rather than exploding, you kind of like bring the Libra balance in, and you use that as a strength. But you should still move forward on your path, pile 3, because there's wonderful things coming in for you, I think. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.